They may actually be significantly more potent than the largest nuclear weapon that we have ever, as you know, progressed. Just recently, an impossible dark object was captured by cameras but never intended to be seen. The highest resolution images ever taken of an alien visitor from another galaxy were released in secret just hours ago. They are already altering the work of astronomers who thought they were aware. On a cold night in October 2025, two European Mars circling orbiters and a rover on the surface all turned toward the same dim traveler from another star. These were billion-dollar observatories, not mere surface mappers or navigation cameras built to study dust and rocks. The images came from ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter's Cassie's camera and Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter's HIRI's instrument. Getting about 30 kilometers per pixel at a resolution of 30 million kilometers away, the sharpest view any spacecraft has ever obtained of an interstellar object. They show something odd. There is no coma, and the distribution of brightness does not conform to the scientific patterns expected from ice that sublimates. Nicholas Thomas, who operates Cassie's, noted that the object is 10,000 to 100,000 times fainter than common targets. However, no coma. Its structure appears to be extremely uniform. Most comets produce asymmetric jets from rotating regions where ice evaporates, yet 3 Atlas shows a remarkably even glow. But here's what no one is talking about yet. Days before these images dropped, Loeb made a startling connection. A tiny electrical signal recorded back in 1977, nearly 5 decades ago, matches the trajectory of 3 Atlas. The signal was largely forgotten, archived, dismissed as noise or a glitch. Yet, when Loeb retraced 3 Atlas's steps through space, the coordinates aligned. Take note of this, on August 15, 1977, a well-known flare was located in a radio frequency signal that gave the wow signal its name because the observers at Ohio State who recorded it were astonished by its power. When Loeb examined it, it turned out to have come from roughly the same direction as 3 Atlas. The 1977 signal is just the beginning. That signal didn't come from Earth. It didn't come from any known satellite or terrestrial source. It came from exactly where this object was passing through 48 years ago, our solar system. An interstellar visitor was here before, and we didn't realize it until now. You're about to see why Harvard's top astronomer recently stated on the record that this object is not a comet. Not probably, not maybe. At first, astronomers called it a comet. But then, after it became evident that it's not, we saw no evidence of surrounding gas or dust, which is the defining property of a comet. The most recent imaging data, along with additional measurements, make his case impossible to ignore. The first anomaly, the mass acceleration paradox. Loeb's team analyzed trajectory data from 227 observatories collected between May and September. They found a tiny non-gravitational acceleration less than 15 meters per second squared per day. Comets are pushed by their own outgassing jets like a leaky balloon drifting sideways. But the measured acceleration is insufficient for the observed activity. That means the nucleus must be extremely large to resist being pushed by its own jets. Their calculation, over 33 billion metric tons, a diameter around 5 kilometers. A mass of 33 billion tons is the smallest the object could possibly have. It may be greater. Thus, 3 Atlas is roughly 1,000 to 100,000 times larger than Borisov or Oumuamua, about 10 times bigger at the very least compared to the preceding interstellar object. Hold tight. What I'm about to reveal will completely flip your understanding of how this object moves through space. The second anomaly, outgassing, doesn't match brightness. When comets approach the sun, their frozen volatiles warm up and vaporize, creating a visible coma. Brightness is directly proportional to the amount of material escaping, but spectroscopic measurements show very little gas emission, much lower than anticipated for a coma this bright and extensive. It's like seeing a torrent of smoke from a chimney, but barely detecting any fire beneath. If the glow isn't from massive outgassing, something else must be producing that coma. And if the 1977 signal truly came from this object during a previous pass, it suggests a source of energy that has existed for nearly half a century. Something no natural comet could sustain. But comets are mostly ice and porous rock. Lightweight, fluffy. To pack 33 billion tons into a 5-kilometer sphere, you'd need material far denser than ice. You'd need metals, lots of them. Right now, buried in spectral data still being analyzed. There's a chemical signature that contradicts everything we know about how comets form. The third anomaly, composition, preliminary spectroscopy, hints at nickel emission lines without the corresponding iron signature U. Expect in a natural body nickel and iron almost always appear together, because they form together in dying stars.